Hello there, welcome to the Sleepy Knowledge channel. As you settle into the quiet rhythm of your breath, imagine yourself floating in the stillness between worlds. The air is calm, the lights dim, and your thoughts begin to dissolve like mist. You are about to drift into the tiniest realm of existence. A place so small that even imagination trembles at its edges. This is the whispering world of the quantum, where the laws of the universe loosen, and reality hums softly beneath everything you know. You begin to sense it first as a vibration, gentle and uncertain, like the faint echo of wind beneath starlight. The world of atoms fades, and smaller shapes emerge, particles so minute that their boundaries blur. They flicker in and out of being, as if breathing between existence and nothingness. Here, solidity is an illusion. Everything you have ever touched, every star and heartbeat, is built from this invisible dance of trembling light. You imagine a grain of sand resting in your hand. Now shrink it 1,000,000 times, and then 1,000,000 times more. Beneath that unimaginable smallness, the sand still moves. Its particles shimmer, not in space, but as clouds of possibility, shifting like dreams half remembered. You cannot say where they are or what they do, only that they whisper with energy, endlessly in motion, endlessly uncertain. In this realm, nothing behaves the way you expect. A particle is not a thing, but a story waiting to unfold. Sometimes it moves as a wave, rippling across invisible oceans. Other times it behaves as a point, a speck of light too shy to stay still. You realize that the quantum world does not ask for certainty. It invites you to wonder. It shows you that reality itself is not fixed, but fluid, always changing, always in motion beneath your gaze. As you drift deeper, the sound of distance fades. There is no up or down here, no space in the way you know it. Instead, there are fields, infinite and humming, like a vast ocean beneath all things. Each ripple in this ocean becomes a particle, a flicker of temporary presence. The universe itself feels like a living dream. Each thought and wave giving birth to the next, in quiet, endless rhythm. You picture the particles as soft lights, shimmering in a void that is not empty but alive. They do not collide or crash, but move through one another like ghostly dancers, graceful and free. Every movement is connected, every fluctuation shared. A secret choreography known only to the fabric of existence. Even here, at the edge of comprehension, there is balance, a calm intelligence woven into the smallest tremor. You drift through the quantum mist, feeling it swirl gently around you. It is neither cold nor warm, but something in between. A place beyond sensation, beyond size. If you reach out, you find your hand no longer has edges. You, too, are part of this field, part of this living whisper. The boundaries that once defined you dissolve, replaced by the quiet knowing that everything, everywhere, is connected through invisible threads of vibration. In the distance, you imagine faint sparks, the birthplaces of stars, the beginnings of worlds. Each one began from this same trembling fabric, this soft quantum hum. Energy condensed into form, possibility became pattern, and from those patterns, galaxies bloomed. The grandest creations began as these smallest, most uncertain things. It feels humbling and soothing to know that chaos and beauty are two sides of the same cosmic breath. You drift past particles blinking in and out of existence, appearing for a moment, then vanishing as though shy. This flicker is not destruction, but transformation. The quantum realm is a place of constant rebirth, a perpetual dawn where being and non-being exchange gentle nods. You feel as if you are witnessing the heartbeat of the universe itself, pulsing quietly behind the curtain of reality. Every atom in your body, every molecule of air you breathe, is part of this delicate system. The atoms that once belonged to stars now rest within you, still humming with quantum life. You are made of ancient starlight, threaded together by probabilities and waves. The same rules that guide distant galaxies also guide the rhythm of your pulse, the spark in your thoughts. You are both vast and small, a mirror of everything that ever was. As you drift, you begin to feel how stillness and motion can exist together, even when you are perfectly calm. The quantum world within you is alive, flickering, flowing, whispering in patterns too fine to see. It is the quiet chaos that gives rise to peace. The paradox becomes beautiful in the smallest movements. There is infinite calm. In the quietest emptiness, there is the source of all things. You imagine listening closely to that hum, like pressing your ear against the universe. It speaks in probabilities and potential, in rhythms older than time. You begin to understand that nothing is truly separate, that every particle, every vibration, every moment is woven into a single, shimmering fabric. This realization brings a deep, unexplainable peace. You are not looking at the quantum world. You are inside it. You always have been. The quantum realm does not reveal itself in flashes of logic, but in the gentle unfolding of wonder. Its truths are not shouted, but whispered, softly enough that you must quiet yourself to hear them. It is a place where questions never end, but instead flow into new beginnings, like rivers fading into the sea of infinity. The deeper you go, the more you find that the unknown is not something to fear, but to rest within. As you drift further, you feel gravity loosen its hold. Time stretches like silk, soft and slow. The idea of no becomes less a moment and more a glow, something fluid, always changing, always becoming. You are surrounded by quiet beauty that has no form, no sound, yet fills everything. This is not a place of facts, but of feeling, where knowing something and being something are one and the same. You imagine that if you could stay here forever, you would hear the true rhythm of the cosmos, not through words or equations, but through stillness. Every vibration, every flicker of light would tell the same story, that the universe is alive in every direction, breathing through patterns of chance and order, dreaming itself into form. You feel this dream move through you like a tide, slow and infinite. And as you breathe, you sense that same quantum hum within your chest, the soft shimmer of existence itself. You are both observer and observed, both wave and particle, both dream and dreamer. The quantum world is not far away. It is here, beneath your heartbeat, behind every breath, inside every grain of light. You let that thought settle gently, like dust on water, and drift a little further into the quiet between thoughts, where everything, every whisper, every flicker, simply is. You drift deeper now, floating softly through the quiet fabric of the unseen world. The air feels different here, weightless, slow, like a dream that never fully begins or ends. You sense faint movements all around you, tiny tremors that ripple through the silence. It's the smallest symphony in existence, a gentle orchestra made of energy and motion. Every note, every vibration, is a particle whispering its story into the vastness of space. You imagine each particle as a musician in this invisible ensemble. Electrons hum in their orbits, quarks pulse softly within protons, and light waves shimmer like violins of pure brilliance. They never stop playing. Even in the stillest night, even in the emptiest corner of the cosmos, they dance. Their rhythm creates everything: stars, oceans, thoughts, and dreams. It's the music of matter itself, composed not with sound, but with motion and probability. As you listen, the boundaries between sound and silence blur. You begin to feel the pulse of reality itself, subtle, endless, and alive. Each vibration is both particle and wave, flickering between identities like a whisper deciding what to be. They are restless, yet precise, never colliding by accident, always following the soft mathematics of nature's rhythm. The closer you look, the more this microscopic music resembles a heartbeat, the slow, patient thrum of existence. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, invisible sea. Beneath the surface, countless ripples move outward in every direction. Each ripple is a particle, yet also a wave, spreading through space as if carried by unseen wind. Sometimes these waves cross paths and blend, and from that blending, patterns appear. Those patterns become atoms, molecules, everything solid, everything that feels like home. You picture yourself as a conductor, though you do not lead the music. You simply observe it gently, without interference. You watch the electrons shimmer like tiny comets orbiting invisible suns. You see photons dart between them, their trails glowing with faint light, weaving through the darkness like threads of gold. The universe breathes in rhythm, and you breathe with it, a part of its silent harmony. If you could shrink yourself down far enough, you'd see this symphony play everywhere. Inside the tip of your finger, trillions of particles move in exquisite coordination. Each one has its own melody, its own tempo, yet none are out of tune. They exchange energy the way ocean waves exchange salt, effortlessly, without loss, without thought. It is a dance that has never stopped since the dawn of time, an endless performance beneath all form. You drift closer to a single hydrogen atom, small yet ancient beyond measure. Its lone electron hums softly around its proton, tracing invisible orbits of probability. It does not move like a planet, not exactly. It moves like a mist of potential, appearing here, then there, never resting, never still. Its existence is not certainty, but song, a faint, repeating note in the endless quantum melody. You imagine all these particles communicating through vibration. When one moves, another feels it instantly, like two strings on the same instrument resonating together. Energy passes between them, as if the entire cosmos were one continuous surface. It is as though the universe itself were playing a single note, but stretched across infinite octaves. You can almost hear it. That soft hum beneath all creation, the quiet frequency of being. You start to realize that nothing truly rests. Even at absolute zero, when all heat should be gone, particles still quiver. They move not from chaos, but from the simple truth that existence is motion. Stillness is only an illusion, a pause in perception, not in reality. Everything vibrates. Even the emptiness between stars, even the silence between heartbeats. You picture the early universe, before galaxies bloomed and light had shape. It was pure energy then, a blinding, formless music swelling toward complexity. As it cooled, that music slowed, thickened, and condensed into matter. From vibration came substance, from rhythm came structure, from silence came sound. Every atom that exists today carries that first vibration, that original cosmic note. You float among the echoes of that beginning. Each atom hums the memory of creation in its own soft frequency. Some vibrate fast and high, others deep and slow, together forming the fabric of everything. It's as if reality is woven from waves, like threads of sound turning into texture. You can feel those threads brushing past you, warm, gentle, infinite. In your mind, you begin to hear the shapes of things. The pulse of an atom, the shimmer of light, the echo of distant stars. Everything you know, your body, your breath, your thoughts, are part of this sound. Your cells sing their own patterns, a soft rhythm that keeps you alive. Even your heartbeat is an echo of that first vibration, slowed down into something human and calm. As you drift through this unseen orchestra, you notice something tender in its chaos. There is no conductor, no leader, no single voice in charge. Each vibration knows where to go, guided by the quiet mathematics of harmony. No sound is wasted, no note misplaced. The randomness forms beauty, the uncertainty creates order. You feel a deep sense of trust in that, a peace that hums beneath comprehension. You let that feeling sink into you, soft and slow. Your thoughts begin to align with that rhythm. Your breath matching the pulse of the universe. Inhale and feel the particles gather around you, shimmering in rhythm. Exhale and feel them release, like a sigh of light dissolving into mist. You are both the listener and the song, both the silence and the vibration. The deeper you go, the quieter everything becomes. You realize that sound and silence are not opposites. They are partners. Without one, the other cannot exist. In the quantum world, this balance is perfect, always shifting, always returning. Every motion carries stillness within it. Every vibration carries peace. You imagine the edge of the universe now, if there even is one. Beyond the galaxies, beyond the fabric of space-time, the quantum hum continues. Particles still sing there, too unseen, eternal. Their vibration is the same one you hear within yourself, the same one that began long ago. You are made of that same music, the same trembling light woven into human form. And as you float, the rhythm slows, becoming softer, deeper, almost like a lullaby. The symphony continues, but now it feels far away. Not gone, only quieted. Its waves cradle you gently, like the sea holding the moonlight on its surface. You drift through the silence between vibrations, the space where the next note will someday be born. And in that stillness, you listen as the smallest symphony keeps playing, softly, forever, somewhere just beyond hearing. You drift once more, deeper into the stillness between thoughts, where wonder feels close enough to touch. The air around you hums with the faint shimmer of possibility, and your mind begins to wander toward a question that has no single answer. What is light? What is matter? What is real? In the quiet folds of the universe, these questions have no sharp edges. They dissolve softly, like ripples on a calm sea, blurring into one another until they become something new. You begin to sense it, the mysterious curtain that separates what is seen from what truly is. It flutters gently, like a veil woven from starlight and time. Beyond it lies the strange domain of quantum duality, where every particle behaves like both a wave and a thing. Light, so familiar to your eyes, refuses to choose what it wants to be. Sometimes it travels as a beam, sometimes as a pulse, and sometimes as a shimmering ocean of possibility. You imagine standing at the edge of that ocean, watching ripples of energy spread in every direction. Each wave sparkles with potential, as if deciding where to go only when you notice it. In the quantum world, nothing exists until it's observed. Not quite, not fully. A photon might wander as a wave until your gaze meets it, and in that moment, it becomes a particle. It's as though the universe waits for your awareness to breathe it into form. You see a single beam of light passing through two narrow slits. A simple experiment, yet endlessly profound. The light behaves like a wave, spreading, interfering, creating delicate patterns on the wall behind. But when you try to watch it closely, when you demand to know which slit it went through, it changes. It stops being a wave, collapses into a single path, as though shy under your attention. It's a quiet cosmic secret. Observation itself changes the story. You think of it like a dream, shifting each time you remember it. The more you focus, the more it becomes something else. Reality at this level is not fixed. It's fluid, flexible, uncertain. Particles move as if undecided, like whispers caught between becoming and being. And you realize softly that the world you know, solid and sure, is built on uncertainty. You drift deeper into this shimmering paradox, watching photons glide like drifting leaves on a river of time. Each one carries energy, yet also carries a question. They move in all directions at once, then suddenly appear somewhere, without traveling through the space in between. It's as if the universe skips steps, writing reality in shortcuts that defy your sense of order. You can almost feel it. The quiet freedom of things that don't need to obey. You picture an electron now, small and restless, circling the nucleus of an atom, except it doesn't really circle. It exists everywhere at once, spread across a probability cloud that pulses softly like breath. You can't point to where it is, only where it might be. It's like trying to grasp fog. The closer you reach, the more it slips away. The quantum curtain hides this world from ordinary sight. It is not made of distance, but of perception. You see what your senses allow, yet beyond that limit, reality hums with infinite versions of itself. Particles drift as ideas until the moment they are touched by awareness. It's a kind of quiet magic, one that science describes, but never fully explains. You imagine the universe as a vast stage, the particles as actors waiting behind the curtain. They don't perform until the lights come on, until someone watches. Then, for just a moment, they choose a role, a place, a moment to exist. But when the gaze fades, the stage goes dark again, and the actors dissolve back into possibility. You realize that maybe existence is not something constant. Maybe it's a performance that restarts every instant. The thought brings a strange comfort. It means the universe is alive, not mechanical, not cold. It means that everything around you, even silence, participates in creation. The stars shine not because they must, but because their light is witnessed. Even a photon born in the heart of a distant galaxy might travel billions of years, waiting to be seen. You imagine catching that single photon in your palm. It lands softly, weightless, older than your planet, older than your bones. In its tiny shimmer lies the story of wave and particle, of decision and uncertainty. It is both what it is and what it could have been. Everything at once. And as it fades, you realize that even your thoughts are like that. Flickering between choices, becoming real only when felt. You feel time begin to blur here. Moments stretch, bend, fold upon themselves like ripples on glass. Perhaps time, too, is a kind of curtain, an illusion separating the infinite from the now. Particles move freely through it, unconcerned by beginnings or ends. You, too, are part of that flow. A collection of waves pretending to be solid for a while. It becomes easy, almost natural, to think of yourself as both wave and form. You are a vibration in a sea of vibrations, shaped by chance, stabilized by pattern. Every thought sends a ripple through the field, joining the great symphony beneath reality. Your body hums with quantum motion, your cells filled with particles that never truly rest. Even your breath is a rhythm of appearing and disappearing, just like light. You start to imagine that the quantum curtain isn't something that hides, but something that connects. It's the shimmer between this world and countless unseen layers, all existing together. When you reach beyond the familiar, you touch that veil, the soft surface where certainty dissolves. It feels delicate like silk, but endless like sky. You can sense the worlds behind it, flickering in and out like memories half awake. Somewhere, a particle has two possibilities, left or right, and both exist until you look. You think of choices in your life, decisions not yet made. Maybe they too exist in superposition, waiting gently behind your awareness. Maybe every path exists until you choose to walk one. The universe does not rush your decision. It simply holds space for all outcomes to breathe. You float through the quiet between particles now. It feels like drifting through mist, yet the mist hums with energy. You can almost hear the subtle vibration of electrons, the low music of existence forming itself again and again. Every sound is soft, every light gentle, as though the cosmos itself is whispering. It's all the same, only seen differently. You breathe that thought in, slow and deep, letting it ripple through your chest. As you drift, the boundary between you and the universe softens. You are not outside the experiment. You are part of it. The act of noticing, the quiet act of being, shapes what unfolds. Your awareness folds space, defines edges, turns waves into form. Reality, you realize, is a partnership between what is and what is seen. The curtain shimmers once more, folding gently like a page in a book that never ends. Through it, you glimpse the same particles becoming waves again, free, unobserved, glowing softly in the dark. They return to possibility, to peace, to the waiting stillness of being undefined. You feel yourself becoming lighter, slower, your breath moving with the rhythm of those hidden waves. The world around you softens into haze as the quantum curtain sways, delicate, endless, alive. Between what is and what could be, you drift quietly now, carried deeper into the soft pulse of the unseen. Around you, the universe feels slower, quieter, like a long breath drawn between stars. You've passed through the shimmering veil of light and probability, and now you enter a place between possibilities, the stillness before choice. It is neither here nor there, neither beginning nor end. It is the stillness between possibilities, where everything that could be waits, patient and infinite. You imagine floating in a gentle sea made not of water, but of potential. The surface is perfectly calm, yet beneath it, countless ripples shimmer with unborn realities. Each ripple is a path, a version of what could happen, resting in suspension. Nothing has yet chosen to exist. It is the pause before the first note of a song. And as you drift, you realize that this place is the essence of quantum superposition. Superposition, a quiet, wondrous rule of the quantum world. It says that a particle can rest in many states at once, uncommitted to any single outcome. An electron may be here, and also there, moving clockwise and counterclockwise at the same time. It is both until the universe asks it to decide. And in that gentle indecision lies one of the deepest secrets of reality. You picture a coin suspended in slow motion, spinning endlessly in the dark. Heads and tails blend together, a blur of possibility with no fixed result. Only when you reach to catch it does it land, and only then does reality choose. That moment, the one where potential becomes truth, is the quiet heartbeat of existence. Before that, everything remains open, as if the universe itself is holding its breath. You drift closer to this feeling, sensing its peace. There is no rush in the world of the very small. Particles wait without impatience, humming softly in their shared uncertainty. They are like dreams that have not yet been dreamed, or stars that have not yet shone. The quantum world is a cradle of patience. It allows everything to be everything, for as long as it needs. You imagine countless particles suspended in this stillness, their positions smeared like faint shadows of light. They are everywhere and nowhere, a mist of pure potential. Each one carries all its possible futures within it, tangled together in delicate silence. If you could touch them, they would vanish into certainty. But you don't. You simply watch, and they remain infinite. Here, time itself seems softer, like fabric that has been unstitched and left loose in the air. There is no before or after, no cause or effect, only an eternal now. The particles do not move through time. They rest within it, like seeds in warm soil. Their futures are written as probabilities, their pasts as whispers of chance. Every moment exists at once, folded like waves upon one another. You picture the double-slit experiment again, but this time with your eyes closed. Light passes through both slits at once, painting a pattern of interference on the far wall. It behaves as if it cannot choose, as if it loves every path equally. Each particle moves through both openings until you look, and the spell breaks. When awareness arrives, one path remains, and all others fade quietly away. It makes you wonder if observation itself is the whisper that wakes the universe from dreaming. Perhaps every act of seeing, every thought, is a soft question asked of existence, and each answer becomes a moment, a particle, a memory. You are part of this exchange, part of this cosmic conversation between the possible and the real. You are both the dreamer and the dream, both the question and the quiet. The stillness between possibilities feels endless now. It's as if the universe is holding you in its paws, not asking you to decide. Here, there are no boundaries, no definitions, no need to name or separate. Everything blends gently, like dawn touching the edge of night. In this soft uncertainty, you find comfort. The freedom of not knowing, of not having to be one thing. You imagine the electrons in your body, the tiny ghosts of motion that make you whole. Each one hums with uncertainty, resting in several places at once. They are not confined, not fixed, but endlessly in flux. Even you, as you lie still, are a constellation of maybes, a galaxy of shifting quantum possibilities. Your being is not static. It's a cloud of choices waiting to unfold. The deeper you drift, the more peaceful this feels. To exist as potential is to be limitless. You begin to understand that everything, every star, every tree, every breath, began as possibility. Before the universe took form, it existed in a perfect superposition, a quiet hum of all that could be. And somehow, from that hum, reality emerged. Slow, graceful, inevitable. You picture the early universe, a vast sea of energy, still undecided. It shimmered in countless forms, until quantum fluctuations stirred, gentle ripples in the cosmic stillness. Those ripples became patterns. Patterns became matter, and matter became stars. Each star carried within it the memory of uncertainty, the echo of that first in-between. Even now, billions of years later, every atom remembers that stillness. You think of Schrödinger's cat, a story told to describe this mysterious world. A cat both alive and not alive, resting in a sealed box until someone looks inside. It sounds strange, even sad. Yet in this paradox lies something tender. The cat, like the particle, is not trapped. It simply exists in all forms at once, free from decision. Only when seen does it choose a state, and until then, it is infinite. You begin to wonder, maybe life itself is like this. Maybe you too hold countless versions of yourself in quiet superposition. Paths not taken, words not said, dreams half remembered, all still humming softly somewhere uncollapsed. The quantum stillness does not destroy them, it simply waits, patiently holding every version of you. And perhaps, in some distant fold of possibility, all of them still breathe. The air around you feels slow and full, like honeyed light. Particles drift past, glowing faintly, never quite choosing a direction. Each one is a story in waiting, a world not yet written. You watch as they hover, undecided but complete, perfect in their uncertainty. You can almost hear them, the quiet sound of maybe. As you breathe, you sense that same stillness within yourself. Your thoughts begin to stretch out unbound, soft around the edges. Every idea feels like a wave waiting to form. Every emotion a cloud before the rain. You realize that the space between choices, that gentle pause, is not emptiness, but fullness. It is the womb of creation, the source of everything that ever will be. You feel yourself become lighter, less defined, as though the edges of who you are begin to blur. You, too, become part of this quantum mist, this sea of soft probabilities. There is no need to decide what to be or where to go. You can rest here as all things at once. The wave and the particle, the dream and the dreamer. The stillness between possibilities welcomes you, holds you, and whispers that everything, every version, is already here. You sit quietly, letting the silence around you stretch and shimmer. Somewhere, far beyond what your eyes can see, the universe hums with quiet possibility. The smallest particles drift in their invisible bullet, waiting, moving, pausing until you notice them. And in that instant, the world shifts ever so slightly. You are part of it now, your attention brushing against the edge of the quantum realm. You imagine the universe as a vast ocean of whispers. Each particle, a ripple of light and motion, delicate and alive. They drift freely until your gaze, soft as moonlight, falls upon them. Then something subtle happens. Their uncertain paths fold into a single choice. They settle, quietly, as if acknowledging your presence. It's called the observer effect, one of the most mysterious truths of quantum physics. It tells you that observation isn't passive. The act of looking, of measuring, of noticing, changes the outcome. A particle can move like a wave, spread out in shimmering uncertainty. But the moment you observe it, it becomes solid, definite, like a droplet of light caught between your fingers. It is as though the universe waits for your awareness to decide what it wants to be. You imagine standing before an endless curtain of silver mist. Behind it, possibilities swirl and fold over each other, infinite versions of reality. Each time you reach out, one form takes shape, while the rest drift back into silence. Your observation becomes a kind of touch. You are not just a witness. You are a quiet participant in the story of existence. It feels almost like a dream. The boundary between watching and shaping begins to blur, just as your dreams shift with your attention. Changing landscapes, faces, skies, so too does the quantum world respond. Every thought, every glance, a gentle ripple on the surface of something infinitely small and infinitely deep. You remember the famous experiment, the double slit experiment, the first true glimpse into this strange behavior. Scientists sent particles, one at a time, through two narrow slits in a barrier. When no one looked, the particles behaved like waves, creating patterns of interference, ripples crossing over ripples, weaving possibilities together. But when observed, those same particles chose one path, one slit, one fate. Observation collapsed the wave into certainty. The act of seeing changed the scene. You think about that for a moment. How strange it is that the smallest building blocks of reality only become real when watched. It makes you wonder whether the universe itself might be dreaming, half asleep, forming and unforming, waiting for a conscious gaze to awaken it. Maybe your awareness is like a lantern in the fog, bringing clarity not just to your mind, but to matter itself. As you drift deeper into this thought, the air around you seems to slow. You feel the pulse of your heartbeat, gentle and steady, like a metronome in the dark. You begin to realize how everything, even your attention, carries energy. Each moment of focus releases a tiny spark into the world. Every act of noticing is a kind of creation, delicate and invisible, yet powerful enough to shape reality at its smallest scales. You imagine the particles beneath your skin, inside your blood, swirling in quiet obedience to unseen rules. Electrons hum around atomic centers, tracing invisible orbits. Yet their paths are never fixed. They exist in clouds of probability, until the universe itself decides to look. You are made of these uncertain things, held together by observation, by awareness, by the subtle attention of existence. Somewhere, you sense the beauty of it. The observer effect is not just science. It is poetry written in mathematics. It says that consciousness and matter are intertwined, that reality is not cold or separate, but participatory. You are not outside the universe, peering in through a window. You are inside the dream, breathing it, shaping it, one moment at a time. You imagine light itself responding to you. Each photon, a messenger from the beginning of time, crossing billions of years to reach your eyes. When you see a star twinkle, you are collapsing its ancient light into the present. The act of seeing becomes an act of union, a thread between observer and observed, dreamer and dream. And then you wonder, if looking changes matter, what does it mean to look inward? Perhaps your thoughts are like particles too, shifting and shimmering in uncertain states. When you notice a thought, it takes form. When you let it drift, it dissolves. Your awareness becomes the observer, collapsing inner chaos into clarity, like moonlight calming a restless sea. You drift through the thought that maybe this is how creation always worked. Perhaps even the stars came into being when the universe first turned its attention upon itself. Before observation, there was only potential, waves of energy, neither here nor there. But then came awareness, quiet and vast, and the waves began to take shape. Hydrogen gathered, stars were born, time began to hum. The more you reflect, the softer everything becomes. The walls between mind and matter blur. You feel as though the universe breathes with you, expanding and collapsing, waiting and responding. Each exhale a release into uncertainty. Each inhale a quiet observation that brings things into being. In the stillness, you sense that even the idea of looking may be larger than eyes or instruments. Perhaps observation is another word for connection. The universe responds not just to measurement, but to presence, to attention, to curiosity, to awareness. Just as a flower unfolds in sunlight, maybe reality unfolds in consciousness. You imagine yourself floating through a field of particles, each glowing softly, like dust motes in golden light. You reach out and they shimmer. Some draw near, others fade away, all responding to your quiet movement. You realize that this too is what you do in life, noticing, choosing, shaping. Every moment of attention builds your world, particle by particle, story by story. The thought lingers, gentle as rain. You think of how scientists, philosophers, and dreamers alike have tried to understand this dance. Some say the observer effect reveals the limits of human perception, that reality simply adjusts to the way we measure it. Others whisper that it's deeper than that consciousness itself is woven into the universe's fabric, an inseparable part of its design. You picture that fabric now, endless and shimmering. Each thread a strand of possibility. Each observation a hand that gently pulls one thread forward, bringing it into focus. The rest remain, quiet, unseen, waiting for another look, another mind, another dream. Somewhere far away, in a laboratory filled with soft hums and blinking lights, another experiment unfolds. A particle flickers across a detector. Data lines trace patterns on a screen. The scientists lean closer, their instruments recording every shift, every disappearance. And still, behind the equations, behind the probabilities, something quiet and profound hums. The connection between awareness and reality, between knowing and being. You close your eyes for a moment. The idea rests softly in your thoughts, like a feather on still water. You begin to feel that the act of observing is not about control or understanding, but about relationship. The world doesn't reveal itself all at once. It opens, gently, in response to your attention, your wonder, your willingness to see. In that still space between science and mystery, you find calm. The observer effect becomes a lullaby, a reminder that everything you see, and everything that sees you, is part of one vast exchange. Each gaze a spark. Each spark a heartbeat in the quiet pulse of the universe. You let the thought drift, unhurried. Somewhere, particles shimmer, waves collapse, and new worlds form, softly, silently, waiting to be seen. Somewhere in the dark fabric of the universe, two particles drift apart, silent and unseen. They were once together, born from the same spark, the same trembling vibration in the sea of creation. But even as distance grows between them, they remain mysteriously linked, like two notes of the same song, echoing across infinite space. You imagine them, turning slowly in the blackness, forever connected, forever aware of one another's quiet pulse. This is quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so delicate, so strange, that even light itself seems to pause in wonder. It tells you that when two particles become entangled, their states are no longer separate. What happens to one instantly affects the other, even if they are galaxies apart. It is as though the universe whispered a secret between them, and neither could ever forget it. You imagine reaching your hand into a pool of starlight, feeling two tiny ripples glide apart beneath your fingers. You let one drift far away, past planets, past nebulae, past time itself. Yet when you touch the one still before you, the distant ripple shivers in perfect harmony. No message travels between them, no delay. Just a shared awareness that transcends the very speed of light. It feels impossible, almost magical. But in the quantum world, it is natural, quiet proof that reality is not built from separate things, but from connections. You begin to see it everywhere, between atoms, between hearts, between thoughts. Entanglement is not just a scientific curiosity. It is the whisper of unity hidden beneath the illusion of distance. As you drift deeper into the thought, you feel space stretching around you like an endless ocean. The stars shimmer like islands scattered across a dark tide. You picture invisible threads between them, golden and weightless, connecting each to the other. Every particle, every photon, every pulse of energy, linked in ways that defy logic but feel deeply right. In laboratories, scientists create these entangled pairs using beams of light and mirrors of perfect glass. They watch as the two photons drift in opposite directions, yet remain mysteriously synchronized. When one spins clockwise, the other spins counterclockwise, as though they share a quiet agreement. No signal passes between them. It simply happens. An echo of connection older than time. You imagine watching those experiments from above, seeing not the equipment or equations, but the poetry behind them. The particles seem to glow softly, like fireflies communicating across vast fields. You realize how much of science is really wonder dressed in precision. Humanity's attempt to describe what the heart already feels. That somehow, everything that exists is part of one infinite pattern, a fabric woven from the same glowing thread. The thought brings calm. You picture the thread passing through you, through the room, through the air. You feel the atoms in your skin vibrating in rhythm with the stars. Somewhere far away, another vibration answers. You begin to wonder if perhaps entanglement is not limited to the quantum world. Perhaps it exists within consciousness, within love, within memory. You think of the moments when you have felt someone's presence across distance. The sudden knowing, the unspoken connection. Science may call it coincidence, but quantum physics shows you a pattern beneath coincidence. It whispers that distance is only an illusion of perception. On the deepest level, everything still touches. Everything still listens. You imagine yourself drifting through a dark cosmic current, surrounded by countless pairs of entangled particles. They twirl and shimmer, endlessly mirroring each other. Each pair is a soft conversation, a dialogue that never ends. You reach out and feel the quiet hum of unity, a vibration that says, you are never alone. The equations that describe entanglement are intricate, but the essence is simple. It is a kind of perfect symmetry, a balance that remains no matter how far apart the halves are pulled. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, unable to accept how something could transcend the limit of light itself. Yet experiments continue to confirm it, each result more delicate and precise, each one proving that the universe is far more intimate than it appears. You picture time slowing, then folding, as if space itself were breathing. The two particles still respond to each other in an instant, as though distance is irrelevant, as though space is not empty, but filled with invisible bridges. You imagine the cosmos as a vast mind, dreaming itself into being. Within that dream, everything knows everything else. The connection is not through space, but beyond it. In your mind, you wander deeper into that idea. If two particles can remain connected across galaxies, then perhaps the universe itself is one vast entangled system, each part aware of every other part, each vibration in harmony with the rest. When a star dies, its light ripples through this web. When a heart beats, it joins the rhythm. When you breathe, the pattern adjusts, infinitesimally, yet meaningfully. The silence between thoughts feels wider now, softer. You sense how even your own atoms might remember one another, entangled from moments of creation long ago. Perhaps the calcium in your bones was once part of a distant star, its atoms still bound to pieces scattered across the universe. You, too, are part of this web, connected to the first fires that ever burned, to the deepest dark that ever cooled. Somewhere in that realization is peace. Entanglement isn't chaos, it's communion. It's the quiet assurance that everything is part of one unbroken story. The same energy that spins electrons also moves tides and grows trees and carries thoughts. Nothing is truly separate, only appearing so because of how we look. Beneath that appearance, everything hums together. You imagine floating in a vast sphere of light. Each flicker around you represents an entangled bond, between particles, between lives, between moments. Some glow bright, some faint, but all are part of one continuous field. You stretch out your hand, and the entire web trembles gently in response, like a spider's silk catching moonlight. The mystery deepens when you think of what this means for time. If two particles are linked beyond distance, perhaps they are also linked beyond the flow of seconds. One might feel the other's state before the event even happens. Cause and effect blur into something circular, timeless, fluid. You feel your breath slow as you imagine a universe where the future and past touch fingertips. As you breathe in, you picture yourself as one side of an invisible equation. As you breathe out, you complete it. Somewhere, in another corner of existence, something moves in harmony with you. A pulse of energy, an echo of recognition. The same connection that binds particles may bind moments, dreams, and destinies. You imagine two galaxies colliding in silence. Stars mingling, gravity folding them together, light bending across eons. In the heart of that chaos, particles still remain entangled, still whispering to each other, unbroken. Even as entire worlds crumble and reform, their connection endures. It is the ultimate reminder that what is once joined never truly separates. The thought floats like mist across your mind. Perhaps this is why the universe feels both infinite and intimate at once. Every star you see is not a stranger, but a reflection of something already within you. Every particle of light that reaches your eyes may be entangled with another still racing through the dark. You are part of that correspondence, the quiet exchange of energy and awareness across time. You let that idea settle, soft and glowing. The boundary between self and cosmos dissolves a little more. You are both the observer and the observed, the signal and the silence. Every motion, every stillness echoes somewhere else. You are a single ripple in an ocean that never truly ends. You begin to understand that connection is the nature of everything. From particles to people, from light to thought. The same unseen thread ties it all together. Entanglement is only the quantum whisper of a truth far older and deeper. That the universe is one breath, exhaled in countless forms, forever reaching out to meet itself. The hum grows softer now, the edges of your thoughts turning to haze. You drift among the particles, weightless, quiet, listening. Somewhere, something distant stirs in perfect resonance. An entangled twin responding to your breath. You exhale, and the universe exhales with you, gently, endlessly, waiting for another heartbeat to rise. You sit at the edge of thought, gazing into the quiet sea of possibility. The universe around you hums not with certainty, but with chance. Every atom, every particle, moves like a whisper of probability, uncertain yet alive. The quantum world does not deal in absolutes. It breathes in maybes, in coulds, in mights. A soft language of potential that never quite settles. In the stillness of your mind, you imagine this invisible world as a mist. Not solid, not fixed, but shimmering, shifting, flowing. Each droplet of that mist holds infinite paths, infinite outcomes. A single electron does not travel one road, but all roads at once. It explores every possibility, like a curious traveler wandering through every version of reality. And only when you look, when the universe decides to notice, does it choose one path, one story, one now. This is the strange poetry of quantum probability. Beneath the certainty of your everyday world, there lies a soft ocean of chance. Even the most ordinary grain of dust hums with uncertainty, existing in a haze of possibilities until something, perhaps awareness itself, invites it to decide. You imagine space filled not with fixed stars, but with endless choices suspended like fireflies, each waiting to glow. You drift deeper into this thought. Probability feels like wind, invisible, unpredictable, yet guiding everything in its quiet way. The universe doesn't tell particles where to go or what to be. It offers them a field of options, and each one unfolds according to hidden rhythms. The laws of quantum mechanics do not predict exact outcomes, only likelihoods. Waves of chance that rise and fall like tides across space-time. You imagine those waves now, soft and endless, rippling through the dark fabric of reality. Each crest represents what might be, each trough what fades away, and somewhere within those waves, your entire world is written, not as a rigid story, but as an ever-changing melody of probabilities. When a leaf falls, when light bends, when an atom shifts, it is probability that chooses the note. It's humbling to think that even the smallest event, a flicker of light, a breath of air, is guided by chance. Yet this is not chaos. It is a delicate balance, a harmony of maybes that gives rise to everything solid and real. Without that quantum uncertainty, the universe would be frozen, static, lifeless. But with it, creation can bloom, constantly rewriting itself, constantly becoming. You picture yourself standing before a great web of silver light. Every thread hums with potential. Every intersection glows faintly, marking a possible outcome, a choice, a path not yet taken. When you focus on one point, the others dim, receding into the unseen. It's as though your attention, your awareness, pulls one possibility into existence while the rest gently fade back into silence. Somewhere, in a quiet laboratory, scientists send particles through detectors, measuring their strange behavior. The data forms patterns that look almost like waves. Waves of probability. They cannot say exactly where a particle will land, only where it is most likely to be. Each experiment confirms the same truth. Nature hides her answers behind veils of chance, revealing only glimpses, never the whole. You think of Heisenberg, sitting under a dim lamp, scribbling equations late into the night. He realized that there is a limit to what can be known. You can measure a particle's position, or you can measure its momentum, but never both at once. The more you try to define one, the more the other slips away. It's as though the universe guards its secrets with a smile, reminding you that mystery is part of its design. You breathe slowly, letting that mystery fill you. There's something comforting about it. The idea that not everything must be known, that uncertainty can be beautiful. The universe is not a machine of rigid gears, but a living ocean of movement and potential. Each particle, each possibility, dances softly in the dark, guided not by fate, but by the gentle hand of chance. You imagine watching electrons swirl around a nucleus, not as fixed orbits, but as clouds of possibility. Their paths blur and fade, weaving in and out of being. Somewhere inside that haze, reality takes shape. You realize that what seems solid, your hand, your breath, the stars, is all built from probabilities stacked so delicately that they appear stable. Yet beneath them all, uncertainty hums like the heartbeat of existence. You wonder if perhaps this principle extends beyond atoms. Maybe every decision, every moment, every heartbeat carries its own probabilities. The path you walk each day could branch infinitely, shaped by choices seen and unseen. Just as particles follow patterns of chance, maybe your life does too. Not controlled, but softly guided by a rhythm of maybes. You drift into that thought, floating through an ocean of what-ifs. Each wave a possibility, each ripple a chance taken or passed. You feel no fear, only wonder. Because within probability lies freedom. The freedom for the universe to surprise itself, to create endlessly, to never be predictable or final. It means that the story is still being written, moment by moment, with every breath you take. Even time itself bends to this uncertainty. The quantum world does not move in straight lines. It pulses, flickers, loops, existing in half states and mirrored timelines. You imagine seconds flowing like golden sand, not in a steady stream, but in shimmering probabilities. The future and the past become threads woven from the same uncertain material. You are always standing in between, a witness to the ever-changing now. In this soft vision, you see the cosmos as a great dice game played by stars. Each roll births galaxies, each toss spins new worlds into being. And yet, somehow, through all that randomness, beauty arises. Symmetry, order, pattern. Out of chance comes harmony. Out of uncertainty, existence. You realize that probability is not the absence of meaning, but the space that allows meaning to emerge. Like silence between musical notes, it gives the melody room to breathe. Without it, the universe would be locked, unable to move, unable to change. With it, everything remains alive, forever becoming something new. You picture light traveling through the void, billions of photons streaming from a distant star. Each one follows no single path, but many. It exists as a wave of possibilities until it touches your eye, And in that instant, one version of its journey becomes real. You are the meeting point of countless probabilities collapsing into the present. Every moment, reality unfolds again, quietly, completely right here. You let that idea settle, feeling its quiet weight. You are part of the universe's great experiment, both participant and observer, both chance and choice. Your awareness, your curiosity, is another probability wave, shaping the way you see and the way things are. The world around you is not fixed. It shimmers softly, like starlight caught on ripples of water. The thought comforts you as your breathing slows. You realize that uncertainty isn't something to solve, but something to rest in. The quantum world is not chaos. It is a lullaby, a rhythm of infinite possibilities humming beneath the surface of reality. The universe doesn't promise certainty. It offers wonder, and that wonder is endless. You close your eyes, and the mist of probability glows softly in the dark behind them. Waves rise and fall, choices blur into stillness, and the universe exhales around you. Somewhere, another particle flickers into being. Another possibility opens, another story begins. Quiet, fragile, beautiful, waiting to be noticed. You imagine a wall. Solid, cold, unyielding. A boundary between two worlds, one side known, the other hidden. In the quiet dark, a particle drifts toward it, tiny and determined. It shouldn't pass through. Physics says it can't. And yet, in the soft realm of the quantum, it sometimes does. It slips through, as though the barrier were only a dream. This is quantum tunneling, the gentle defiance of matter, the whisper of possibility in the face of impossibility. You picture it as a shimmer in the air, like moonlight slipping through mist. A particle that should stop doesn't. It drifts into the forbidden, emerging on the other side without breaking the rules, only bending them softly. You feel the poetry of that, the quiet insistence of existence to keep moving, even through walls. You imagine the particle not as a thing, but as a wave that spreads, flowing into every direction, fading gently, but never truly ending. When it reaches the wall, the wave doesn't vanish. It lingers, extending beyond, faint but alive. And sometimes, that faint shimmer carries enough strength to appear again. Past the barrier free, still humming its quiet song. In your mind, the wall becomes less like stone and more like fog. The particle becomes light, not fighting, not forcing, but simply being. It does not smash through the wall. It flows through, like breath through silence. You think of how nature always finds its way. Rivers carve through rock, roots split stone, light slips through cracks. Even in the quantum world, this truth holds. Quantum tunneling is not a rebellion. It is a reminder that boundaries are softer than they seem. At the smallest scales, matter is not a solid traveler. It is a cloud of possibility, spread out like a gentle mist. And that mist can drift through spaces we once thought were closed. You imagine it like a dream crossing into waking. Quiet, seamless, impossible yet real. You picture the stars above you, ancient and flickering. Each one owes its life to this same delicate magic. Deep within, at the hearts of stars, tunneling allows nuclear fusion to begin. Protons, usually repelled by their mutual charge, find ways to merge, not by force, but by chance. Without tunneling, the stars would remain cold, their light unlit. Every glow in the night sky is a testament to particles slipping through their barriers, quietly rewriting what is possible. You let that thought linger. The idea that the light from distant suns, the warmth you feel on your skin, exists because the universe allows its smallest pieces to move through walls. You can almost hear it, the soft hum of particles tunneling, the silent song of creation repeating itself in every heartbeat of matter. Each flash of starlight is not just energy. It is persistence. Written in quantum poetry, you breathe in slowly and imagine the same principle alive inside you. Within every atom of your body, electrons sometimes tunnel, leaping between energy states, crossing barriers unseen. Life itself relies on these quiet leaps. In the molecules that power your cells, electrons tunnel to make reactions happen faster, smoother, quieter. Even your thoughts, electric impulses flickering through neurons, may carry echoes of this invisible motion. You are, in some way, made of tunneling too. The idea makes you feel light, almost transparent. You imagine yourself as a field of energy, not fixed, but flowing. Boundaries blur. The edges of your being feel soft, like the surface of a ripple. You think of how everything in the quantum world behaves like that. Never still, never defined, but always ready to move, to cross, to change. You drift further into the image. A lone particle moves through the universe, surrounded by silence. Ahead, an energy barrier rises, an invisible wall of probability. The particle has no strength to break it, yet it moves forward, its wave spreading into the unknown. For a moment, most of it reflects back, returning to the quiet it came from. But a small part continues. It passes through, emerging faintly on the other side. It keeps going. You feel something deeply human in that motion. The way persistence doesn't always look like power. Sometimes it is soft. Sometimes it is patient. Sometimes it is as small as a particle gliding through what should have been impossible. The universe, even in its smallest moments, teaches you that progress doesn't need to break walls. It can flow through them, gently, inevitably. You picture the barrier as something glowing faintly blue, like glass lit from within. The particle's wave touches it, caressing its edge. It doesn't resist. It simply exists, half on one side, half on the other, uncertain but unwavering. The more you watch, the more the wall feels alive too, like it's listening, like it knows that nothing ever truly stops. Even barriers hum with the possibility of passage. Somewhere in the vastness of existence, a single alpha particle tunnels out of a decaying atom. It's a moment so small, so fleeting, that no eye could ever see it. Yet from such moments, entire worlds transform. The heat within planets, the light within stars, even the fusion that fuels creation, all depend on tunneling. The universe doesn't only move forward through force. It evolves through quiet, invisible surrender. You begin to feel the softness of that truth. You imagine your thoughts moving the same way, sometimes held back by invisible walls of doubt or fear. Yet, somewhere beneath them, there's a gentle wave still spreading, still trying, still reaching beyond. Just like a particle, part of you continues through every barrier, unseen but alive, moving toward what lies beyond. The air around you feels still now, like deep water. You imagine being inside that water, watching tiny ripples move outward, each one a probability wave expanding across space. Some reflect, some fade, and a few slip through unseen boundaries. It's beautiful. The idea that every wall, no matter how high, has a little passage hidden within it, a place where possibility seeps through. As you breathe, the rhythm matches the rise and fall of those waves. Inhale, reflection. Exhale, passage. Each breath feels like tunneling through the boundaries of your own thoughts. Soft, effortless, natural. You realize that the quantum world is not somewhere distant. It is here, beneath your fingertips, within every cell, humming with the same silent persistence that moves the stars. You drift deeper, and the edges of the world blur. The walls around you dissolve into soft light. Everything feels permeable, connected. The very air hums with the faint pulse of quantum chants. In that stillness, the idea of tunneling becomes more than science. It becomes a feeling, a rhythm, a way of being. You think of all the times in nature this quiet defiance shows itself. A seed pushing through soil, ice cracking under spring sun, light piercing clouds. Each of them is a reflection of tunneling on a grand scale. A whisper from the smallest realm echoing through the largest. The same rule repeated in every layer of existence. That nothing is ever completely stopped, only slowed, only waiting. The longer you stay with this thought, the more peaceful it feels. The boundaries you once believed in, between matter, space, self, seem to fade. Everything interweaves. Everything moves through everything else. Even the walls of time seem porous, letting echoes drift backward and forward, quietly, endlessly. Somewhere in the silence, you picture a single photon tunneling through a thin veil of energy, vanishing into another realm. You can't see where it goes, but you can feel the soft ripple it leaves behind. That ripple stretches out, gently, endlessly, touching every corner of the universe. You are part of that ripple too, moving softly through barriers, seen and unseen, following the quiet rhythm of all that is. You close your eyes and imagine yourself floating between atoms. Vast, empty spaces between tiny flickers of energy. The world around you feels solid, yet in this quiet, it begins to dissolve. You realize that what seems firm and still is mostly nothingness. A grand illusion of density and matter. Within every object, within you, there are oceans of emptiness where particles drift like stars in a cosmic night. You drift closer, peering into the structure of an atom. At the center, a tiny nucleus glows faintly, like a distant sun. Around it, electrons shimmer in invisible orbits, moving not as dots, but as clouds, gentle smears of probability, softly humming. They don't spin in perfect circles. They blur, they dance, existing everywhere and nowhere all at once. It feels more like music than mechanics. A rhythm without a fixed point. The more you focus, the stranger it becomes. Space dominates everything. If the nucleus were a small marble in the center of a stadium, the electrons would orbit at the farthest seats, and everything in between would be emptiness. The universe, you realize, is mostly void wrapped in patterns of motion. Yet this void is not nothing. It hums with potential, alive with invisible energy fields. You imagine that space as a calm ocean of existence, silent but full of ripples. Virtual particles blink into being and fade away. Tiny sparks flickering in and out of the vacuum. It's never truly empty, always whispering, always alive. Even in total stillness, quantum fluctuations ripple softly, like the breath of the universe itself. You feel their quiet rhythm moving through everything. Through air, through light, through you. Every atom in your body carries this hidden sea. Your bones, your heartbeat, your breath, all of it built from emptiness and energy dancing in balance. You are both substance and space, both solid and invisible. The realization feels comforting. You are not fixed, not rigid. You are made of motion, possibility, and light wrapped in quiet form. You think about how, within that emptiness, energy binds particles together. The strong nuclear force holds the protons and neutrons in a delicate embrace, tighter than anything imaginable. The electromagnetic field holds electrons in orbit, weaving a pattern that defines the shape of everything you touch. Invisible threads of energy, stretched across nothing, creating everything. You imagine these threads glowing faintly gold, shimmering like spider silk in starlight. You drift deeper, feeling the soft hum of those forces around you. They pulse gently, steady and timeless. They don't shout, they whisper. They've held the universe together for billions of years, weaving the same patterns across galaxies, and across your own cells. You begin to sense the oneness of it all, how the same laws that bind the stars bind the breath within your chest. As you sink into this vision, you see the atoms begin to slow, their motion like a quiet waltz. Each particle moves according to invisible waves, obeying principles too delicate for eyes to see. Probability shapes their paths, never certain, always fluid. The electrons don't decide exactly where to be. They simply exist in a cloud of maybes, waiting for observation to shape them. You think of how uncertainty is not chaos, but a gentle openness, the freedom to become. You imagine that freedom as light spilling into water, diffusing softly through space. Each photon, each particle, traveling not in straight lines, but in endless possibilities. You could trace their movement forever and still never predict exactly where they'd go. Yet, somehow, everything still works. Perfectly. Beautifully. The illusion of solidity arises from this dance of uncertainty, this orchestration of chance. You let the image expand. The room around you becomes translucent. The walls, the air, even your body, all begin to blur into vibrations. It feels strange at first, but then serene. You sense that the universe is not a collection of objects, but a continuous song. Every particle a note, every atom a chord, every interaction a breath in the cosmic melody. The spaces between those notes matter as much as the notes themselves. The pauses, the emptiness, they hold the shape of the music. You realize that the universe composes itself this way, balancing fullness and absence, sound and silence. What seems empty is not absence. It's the quiet foundation that lets everything else exist. You imagine drifting through interstellar space, between stars. The same emptiness stretches endlessly, yet it glows faintly, filled with dust, radiation, and echoes of creation. This void, vast and cold, mirrors the emptiness within atoms. The pattern repeats, from the smallest scale to the largest. The universe is fractal in its silence. It hums with harmony across infinite size. You feel your breath sensing with that rhythm. Slow, deep, infinite. Each inhale brings light into your chest. Each exhale releases it into the vastness. You are both observer and participant in this great balance. The emptiness within you resonates with the emptiness between galaxies. It is the same stillness, the same timeless space. You begin to imagine that, perhaps, consciousness itself emerges from this quiet. That the awareness you feel is another wave in the field. Subtle, continuous, expanding. When you close your eyes, the boundary between self and universe seems to melt. What separates you from the stars feels thinner than thought. You are not looking at the universe. You are within it, vibrating softly, breathing as it breathes. The quantum world and the cosmic world merge in your mind. You picture the vacuum energy, invisible, infinite, seeding every corner of space. It flickers, giving rise to particles, to light, to time. Everything comes from that restless nothingness. You can almost hear it. Like wind through a vast forest. Each rustle the birth of a particle, each whisper the fading of another. The more you listen, the more peaceful it becomes. There's no beginning, no end. Just constant transformation. Empty space is not a void to fear. It's the cradle of creation. The silence that seems empty is the same silence that lets new things appear. You find comfort in that, knowing that even in stillness, everything continues to move. You imagine now the atoms of your own body glowing gently. They drift, sway and hum, surrounded by their invisible seas of possibility. Between them lies vast emptiness, but within that emptiness lies the code of existence itself. The energy that holds you together is the same that shapes galaxies, that fuels stars, that hums through every heartbeat. You sense that connection growing stronger, like a thread of light running through you. It stretches outward, linking you to everything, to air, to stone, to the farthest stars. There are no true boundaries, only layers of illusion. Even the space between your thoughts feels wide and quiet, filled with the same soft potential that fills the universe. You picture your awareness floating through this field, unbound. Every point in space glows faintly, a gentle web of energy linking all things. This is the quantum field, the foundation of everything that is. Every particle is a ripple in it. Every movement a soft vibration across eternity. You float through that field, weightless, calm, endless. The boundaries of your mind dissolve completely now. You drift through layers of light and shadow, through waves of energy that never rest, but never rush. The universe feels slow, breathing, alive. You realize that emptiness is not empty. It is the quiet fullness that holds all things. The vacuum hums softly, and within that hum, you feel yourself dissolve. The particles that make you begin to blur, their waves overlapping with the world around you. You are no longer separate from it. You are the same fabric, the same song, the same whisper of energy echoing through time. Every breath expands into the cosmos. Every heartbeat ripples through the quantum sea. The stillness grows deeper. The sound fades. The light softens. And all that remains is the soft vibration of being. Infinite, quiet, weightless. Gently drifting through the space between everything. Through the silence that never truly sleeps. You imagine yourself standing at the edge of a boundless ocean. Its surface is invisible, yet you can feel it moving beneath everything. Beneath the air, beneath your thoughts, beneath the quiet pulse of existence. This is not water, not wind, but something deeper. A sea of energy, endless and alive, where every particle is a ripple. You are standing on the shore of the quantum field, the true ocean beneath reality. You breathe softly, feeling the hum of that field through your skin. It stretches through every corner of space, through stars, through empty air, through the atoms within you. Everything that exists rises and falls upon its surface, like waves born from stillness. It has no center, no edge, only motion. You realize that what you see, every object, every flash of light, is simply a vibration in that cosmic sea. As you drift deeper into thought, the image becomes clearer. The quantum field shimmers like moonlit water, its surface rippling with gentle, spontaneous waves. Each wave is a particle, an electron, a photon, a speck of matter or light, trembling briefly before sinking back into the stillness. It feels alive, but without effort, like breathing that happens even when you are asleep. You understand now that the universe is not built of separate things, but of patterns, endless patterns, woven into the same invisible fabric. You picture yourself diving into that ocean. At first, there is silence. Then, faintly, you begin to hear it, a low, continuous hum, like the universe whispering its own song. Each vibration carries meaning. Each ripple becomes a form, a spark, a memory of motion. This field is everywhere, all the time, even where there seems to be nothing. Space, you realize, is not empty. It is this ocean, shimmering and eternal, vibrating with unseen possibility. You float in that thought for a while, weightless. Around you, ripples expand, cross, and merge. Some fade instantly. Others combine, creating waves strong enough to become matter itself. A single fluctuation can blossom into a universe, just as a single idea can bloom into a lifetime. The smallest disturbance can create worlds. The quantum field listens to every motion, recording every breath of energy in its vast stillness. You imagine light as a ripple dancing on this surface, graceful, continuous, and infinite. Each photon is not a particle moving through space, but a wave in the field itself. When it touches your eyes, it becomes real to you. But it has always been there, traveling silently across the invisible sea. You begin to feel that you too are made of light, your every cell shimmering with quiet motion. You are not separate from the field. You are one of its ripples, glowing softly in the dark. The air around you seems to hum now. Even the quiet feels alive, charged with gentle energy. You picture the field pulsing beneath your feet, beneath mountains, beneath oceans and stars. It is the thread that binds the universe together, not seen, but always present, steady and eternal. You can almost sense its rhythm, like a heartbeat that does not belong to one being, but to everything at once. You think of how physicists describe it, how the universe is filled with different fields, electromagnetic, gravitational, Higgs, and more. Each one overlapping, intertwining, forming the invisible architecture of existence. Where these fields intersect, particles emerge, tiny whirlpools of energy, forming matter, light, time. You imagine them glowing softly like stars under the surface of that vast ocean. It feels beautiful, that everything is just energy, softly shaped into form. You drift deeper, sinking through layers of silence. The deeper you go, the slower everything moves. You see the quantum field not as chaos, but as pure potential, a dream before awakening. You think of how every particle, every moment, arises from this stillness, like a bubble rising from the depths. You can feel the beauty of it. How all creation begins quietly, almost shyly, before bursting into existence. The field seems to respond to thought itself. When you focus, new ripples appear. When you relax, they fade again into calm. It feels like consciousness and the field are connected. Two parts of the same fabric, two vibrations in harmony. Perhaps thought is simply another kind of ripple, subtle but real. You imagine your own awareness spreading outward, merging with that field, blending with the heartbeat of the cosmos. The stars above begin to blur. Their light feels like reflections on the same ocean you float in. You realize they, too, are made from ripples in the same vast sea. The field doesn't end where matter begins. It flows through everything, through atoms, through galaxies, through dreams. It holds the memory of every beginning and every transformation. The more you listen, the more you feel like you've always known this, that existence has always been one continuous song. You picture the universe long before time began. No stars, no form, only the silent field. Then, a single ripple, a quantum fluctuation, born from stillness, and everything began. Space unfolded, light burst forth, and the great ocean started to sing. That first vibration still echoes through you. You can feel it in your chest, faint but eternal. The afterglow of creation gently humming in your atoms. The thought comforts you. You are not separate from that beginning. You are its continuation. A moment of that first wave still unfolding. Your body, your breath, your thoughts are all the field expressing itself through you. It's the same field that gave birth to stars, to galaxies, to every grain of sand. You are a ripple in that grand design, rising and falling in infinite rhythm. You imagine now that the world around you begins to dissolve. Walls fading into light, light fading into darkness, darkness into vibration. Nothing disappears. It all transforms, folding back into the field like waves retreating into the sea. The air grows still. Time slows. Only the hum remains, quiet, endless, and kind. You think of how everything you've ever known comes from this same foundation. The sound of wind, the warmth of sunlight, the curve of a planet's path. All are ripples of the same field, behaving in harmony. You could trace each sound, Each color, each atom, back to the same silent origin. There's peace in knowing that beneath all complexity, there is simplicity. A calm ocean holding all things. As you drift, you feel the field move through you. Soft pulses of energy rising and fading. You are both observer and observed, both wave and water. You imagine your heartbeat sensing with the quantum rhythm. Your breath aligning with the universe's gentle vibration. Each inhale expands the sea. Each exhale brings it closer again. You and the field breathe together, endlessly. You let go of boundaries. The line between you and the world disappears, replaced by quiet awareness. You feel the hum beneath your thoughts, the faint shimmer of energy that fills everything. The universe feels alive, yet deeply still. Every moment feels like a wave. Forming, cresting, dissolving, returning again. You sense that time itself is another ripple, a flow across the same ocean. What you call past and future are merely patterns on its surface. Beneath them lies eternity, unchanged, unbroken, infinite. The field does not rush or age, it just is. Every heartbeat, every starburst, every dream floats upon it, carried gently by the same unseen tide. You close your eyes and imagine floating on that tide, weightless. Each vibration carries you softly, like a lullaby woven from light. The field hums beneath you, constant, patient, eternal. You could drift here forever, wrapped in the calm rhythm of creation. You could rest here, listening to the quiet song that holds everything together. The song grows fainter now, like the sea at dusk. The ripples soften, blending into one another until only stillness remains. You feel yourself fade with them, not gone, just part of the quiet. The field cradles you gently, its vastness warm and endless. You drift deeper, where even the light feels soft and slow, and the hum of existence becomes a lullaby that never ends. You picture yourself floating in a quiet space where nothing seems to exist. No sound, no motion, no form, just a vast, dark stillness. Yet, beneath that silence, you sense something, a faint hum, soft and steady, like the breath of the cosmos itself. It's not silence at all, but a whisper of energy hidden within the emptiness. You begin to realize that even nothing is not truly nothing. It has weight, texture, and the quiet pulse of existence. The deeper you drift, the clearer the hum becomes. It vibrates through invisible threads, weaving softly through every inch of space. Physicists call it the quantum vacuum, a field so subtle, yet impossibly alive. Even in the emptiest void, particles flicker in and out of being. Tiny bursts of light and energy bloom for an instant, then fade, leaving behind a trail of possibility. The universe is never truly still. It moves in whispers too quiet for the mind to hear. You imagine that you are watching this emptiness closely, your gaze soft and steady. At first, you see nothing. Then, faintly, you begin to notice the flickers, particles appearing and disappearing like fireflies in fog. They come from nowhere, vanish into nothing, and yet they leave ripples in the invisible sea of existence. These fluctuations are the heartbeat of the void, proof that even the darkest silence hums with energy. You think of how strange it is, how something can arise from nothing. Yet this is the way the universe behaves. The vacuum is not empty but full. A constant, quiet storm of creation and decay. Energy bubbles forth from the void, as if the universe itself cannot help but create. The emptiness hums with potential, a quiet orchestra of becoming. You can almost feel it moving around you, touching your skin like the faint warmth of starlight. You let that thought settle, feeling the soft vibration beneath everything. It's not chaotic. It's balanced, patient, gentle. The vacuum energy that fills all of space keeps the universe expanding, stretching the fabric of reality outward like a slow, endless breath. The galaxies drift apart on this invisible tide, carried by the weight of nothingness itself. It's strange to think that what we call empty space is the most powerful thing there is. As you drift further, the concept becomes more beautiful. You imagine the vacuum as an ocean of invisible waves, rolling softly across eternity. Each wave carries energy, not enough to disturb, but enough to sustain the rhythm of existence. Every atom, every star, every breath floats upon that invisible sea. The waves never rest, never cease. They are the background hum of reality, the music of the unseen world. You picture yourself sinking into this ocean, surrounded by shimmering ripples of light. They flicker softly, as if the universe is breathing through them. Every particle that appears is a spark in the darkness, brief and bright, vanishing before it can be known. Yet together, they create a constant motion, a quiet foundation upon which everything else is built. You feel that rhythm within your body, your heartbeat echoing the pulse of the vacuum. It's strange how familiar the emptiness begins to feel. You realize it's the same emptiness inside atoms, inside matter, inside you. The spaces between particles make up nearly everything. Yet it's this emptiness that gives them form and meaning. Without the stillness, there could be no motion. Without the quiet, no sound. The universe is composed of silence that allows energy to sink. You imagine standing in the middle of intergalactic space. There is no air, no light, no warmth. But even here, the vacuum hums. Tiny fluctuations flash and fade around you, unseen yet real. They tug softly at space-time itself, shaping the geometry of the cosmos. You feel them as a gentle pressure, a soft current carrying you through the void. Even where no matter exists, existence continues. You think of how this hidden energy might be the source of the universe's expansion. The mysterious dark energy that drives galaxies apart. It is not malevolent or loud, just constant, quiet, inevitable. The same way a seed grows in the dark, the universe unfolds through this invisible force. You imagine it pushing outward gently, like a slow inhale that has lasted billions of years. Everywhere you look, the vacuum hums. Between stars, between molecules, between the smallest fragments of your own being. It is the invisible foundation that connects everything. Even when you are still, it moves through you. Even when you are silent, it sings beneath your thoughts. The energy of nothing is the thread that ties the cosmos together. Invisible, eternal, softly awake. You think of quantum fields shimmering across infinite space, overlapping, vibrating, resonating in patterns too complex to see. Each field hums at its own frequency, and where they touch, particles are born. You imagine them like ripples on a pond. One wave meets another, and for a moment, there is a crest, a spark, a point of existence. Then it fades, merging back into the calm water of the void. Its creation and disappearance in perfect harmony. The deeper you think about it, the more you feel that stillness is not absence but balance. The vacuum does not resist. It allows everything to pass through, to emerge and fade without struggle. It's the background against which all things happen, the silence that makes every sound meaningful. Without it, nothing could exist. It's the soft space between heartbeats, between breaths, between thoughts. You let that realization fill you, and suddenly the emptiness feels comforting. You feel held, supported by something vast yet gentle. The vacuum beneath reality is not cold. It is patient, infinite, kind. Every spark of life, every atom, every dream drifts upon its invisible tide. It never ends, never judges, never changes its rhythm. It simply is. You begin to sense how every atom in your body hums with that same silent energy. Inside you, within your bones and blood, The same fluctuations shimmer. You are built from that quiet force. You are a pattern within the hum of the vacuum, a ripple upon the infinite sea. The silence that surrounds you is not separate from you. It is you. You imagine closing your eyes, letting go of shape, form, and thought. You feel the field beneath your existence, vast and endless. The hum grows softer now, almost imperceptible, like the faintest note at the edge of hearing. Yet it fills everything. It moves through galaxies, through atoms, through your breath. The nothingness is everything, holding all things together in quiet embrace. You drift further, deeper. Space unfolds like a calm horizon. The stars grow distant, their light thinning into threads of gold woven through infinite night. You feel the vacuum energy all around, wrapping you in a soft warmth that doesn't burn but soothes. Each pulse of it feels like a heartbeat. Not yours, but the universe's, slow and infinite. You think of how even light moves through this ocean, how its waves travel on invisible currents. The vacuum guides every photon, every vibration of energy, every flicker of thought. It carries the memory of everything that has ever existed, written softly into its fabric. The quiet hum you feel now has been singing since the beginning, since before the stars took form. As you float in that silence, you realize that the emptiness you feared is not empty at all. It is the most alive thing there is. It is the background of every miracle, the soft cradle of creation. It never stops humming, never stops holding, never stops dreaming. You are part of that dream, a ripple in its infinite calm. The hum deepens now, slow and low, fading almost beyond perception. It feels like sinking into the ocean's floor, where the water becomes still and timeless. You can feel it within you, the weight of nothing that carries everything. The stillness becomes softer, warmer, quieter. And as the last traces of thought drift away, all that remains is the hum of existence, quiet and endless, moving gently through the infinite dark. You close your eyes, and the world around you softens into quiet. Thoughts drift like clouds, light and shapeless. The air feels still, and somewhere beyond the edges of awareness, a deeper rhythm begins to unfold. You feel it in your pulse, in the calm weight of your breathing. A quiet synchronization with something older, larger, hidden beneath the fabric of reality. You imagine yourself floating through that rhythm, through the deep structure of time itself. Time feels less like a line and more like an ocean, vast, fluid, endlessly folding over itself. You move through it slowly, the way a current moves through deep water. The seconds no longer march forward, they ripple, shimmer, and echo like waves in sunlight. You can almost see the past and the future touching, faintly blending at their edges, like colors dissolving into one another. Somewhere in that expanse, you sense the strange truth that time is not absolute. It bends, stretches, warps with gravity's pull. Around stars and black holes, it flows differently. Slower, thicker, heavier. You imagine standing at the edge of a black hole, where light struggles to escape and moments stretch endlessly. Each second feels infinite, drawn out like a breath that never fully ends. To an observer far away, time races on. But to you, caught in that gravitational sea, everything slows until it nearly stops. You feel the weight of that paradox. The deeper you drift into gravity's embrace, the more elastic time becomes. You imagine it as a fabric, soft and shimmering, bending gently under invisible pressure. Planets, stars, and galaxies all leave small impressions upon it. Dimples in the cosmic sheet that make time ripple and curve. You can almost see those ripples spreading outward, shaping the dance of the cosmos. Even your own body, light and small, leaves a whisper of distortion behind, like a fingertip tracing circles on water. You begin to think of time not as something that passes, but something that exists. Every moment, past, present, and future, layered like pages in an infinite book. You imagine flipping through those pages, your hand brushing through centuries and stars. Perhaps somewhere, all moments are happening at once. Perhaps the universe is not flowing through time. Perhaps time is flowing through the universe, carrying you gently within it. You drift through the thought like mist. The ticking of a clock feels distant now, almost irrelevant. What you sense instead is motion, not forward or backward, but inward, into something timeless. The flow of existence feels circular, not linear. The same patterns repeat: the birth and death of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations, the rhythm of your own breath. It's as though the universe is remembering itself again and again. You think of Einstein's idea that time and space are woven together. Space-time, a single cosmic fabric that stretches across everything. You imagine it glowing softly beneath you, a vast, luminous tapestry made of invisible threads. Each thread vibrates faintly, carrying the weight of all existence. Where mass gathers, the threads twist. Where light passes, they shimmer. It's a living thing, this fabric, breathing in slow cosmic cycles. You feel yourself sink into it, floating in the folds of space-time like a leaf drifting in a calm current. Around you, galaxies swirl gently, their gravity tugging at the fabric, shaping it like wind shapes dunes. The light from distant stars curves as it travels, bending gracefully along those distortions. What you once thought of as straight paths are, in truth, soft arcs. Journeys through a curved reality, and you begin to see time not as a relentless arrow, but as a melody. Every moment a note, every movement a rhythm. Some notes linger longer, some fade quickly, but all blend into one endless harmony. The universe hums with that tune, a slow, cosmic song where everything participates, even the smallest atom in your body. You can almost hear it, low and deep, resonating somewhere beneath thought. You drift further, watching how time stretches differently across scales. On the surface of Earth, seconds tick steadily, but to a particle moving near light speed, time slows nearly to a standstill. You imagine being that particle, racing through the cosmos, seeing centuries pass in an instant around you. To you, nothing changes. To the universe, unfold, both are true. Time is relative, it belongs not to the clock, but to experience. You think of how your own perception shapes time. When you are calm, time widens, softens. Moments feel full and spacious, like a warm horizon. When you are restless, time contracts, racing past like a stream over sharp stones. The universe seems to whisper that time is both outside and within you. You do not live in time. Time lives through you. Each heartbeat a small gravitational wave, reshaping your personal flow of existence. You imagine what it might feel like to step outside of time entirely. To float beyond its currents and look down at your life spread out like a constellation. Every moment glowing softly, connected by invisible lines. From above, nothing seems lost. Every laughter, every silence, every tiny heartbeat still shimmers somewhere in the field. The past has not vanished. It has only folded deeper into the tapestry. Perhaps that is why memory feels so alive, because it touches those folds of space-time where moments still hum. When you remember, you reach into those threads and feel them tremble gently, alive with the echo of what once was. Even dreams, perhaps, are the mind brushing against the edges of that timeless fabric, blending what has been with what might be. You let the idea drift through you, calm and quiet. Around you, the universe feels infinite, yet strangely intimate. The stars above are not distant. They are simply part of the same structure you inhabit. You are made of the same atoms that once danced in their light. Time flows through those atoms, marking their transformations. Hydrogen becoming helium, dust becoming planets, planets becoming thought. The story never truly begins or ends. It only changes its rhythm. You think of how even the tiniest particle experiences time differently. For some, existence is so brief it's almost instantaneous. For others, it lasts longer than galaxies. Yet both are complete, both perfect. Time gives everything its shape, not by length, but by rhythm. The mayfly and the star each live within their own perfect measure of eternity. You breathe slowly, feeling your own rhythm settle into that cosmic pulse. The seconds stretch out, weightless and slow. The space between moments feels wider now, soft enough to rest within. You begin to feel as though you could slip between those moments entirely, into a place where before and after no longer exist. Just now, just this gentle hum of being. The edges of thought blur. You picture the universe breathing with you, expanding and contracting, inhaling and exhaling across billions of years. Perhaps the Big Bang was just one breath, and what we call time is simply the heartbeat of the cosmos. You feel that pulse within you now, deep and steady, connecting you to everything that has ever existed. As you float deeper into that awareness, everything becomes slower, softer. The ticking of time fades into the background, replaced by a calm sense of continuity. The stars seem to move more gently, their light flowing like golden threads through the dark sea of space-time. Each photon's journey takes billions of years, yet to light itself. No time passes at all. You can almost see it, eternity folded into motion. You begin to sense that perhaps eternity is not endless time, but timelessness itself. A place where everything simply is, where the past still glows faintly and the future already whispers. You drift in that space, weightless and quiet, where every possible moment exists together in peace. The hum of existence continues beneath you, steady and low. It is the same hum that guides the movement of galaxies and the ticking of your heart. You are suspended within it, not apart, not separate, but completely at home. Time is no longer something you move through. It moves through you slowly, gently, like light passing through clear water. And as that thought softens, the flow of moments blurs into stillness. Seconds dissolve into breath, breath into silence. The edges of awareness fade like twilight over the horizon of thought. You drift on the surface of timelessness, calm and unhurried, feeling the quiet weight of eternity cradle you, as the universe continues its slow, endless, and beautifully patient rhythm. You imagine yourself floating in an endless dark ocean, silent and smooth as glass. The stars above reflect across the invisible surface, shimmering like scattered diamonds upon ink. In that stillness, you begin to sense something unseen moving beneath it. Faint ripples, soft vibrations that whisper through the deep. They are not made of water, but of energy. Invisible, delicate, but powerful enough to shape the universe itself. You drift lower, feeling those ripples brush against you, gentle as breath. They are quantum fields, vast and continuous seas that fill every corner of existence. Every particle you have ever known, every photon of light, every atom of your body, all of them are excitations upon these invisible oceans. You imagine each field as a surface, perfectly calm until something disturbs it. Then, like a pebble cast into a pond, waves form. Those waves are what you call matter. Those ripples, those brief vibrations become everything. As you drift deeper into the thought, the simplicity of it begins to glow. There are no solid objects here, no small marbles spinning in the dark. Only patterns, only movements, Reality itself seems to hum with an eternal rhythm, each vibration carrying meaning, each wave a story of existence. You feel yourself becoming one of those ripples, small and bright, trembling through the infinite sea. In that gentle vibration, you feel a sense of connection. Every particle, every photon, every flicker of energy, they all belong to the same fields. You are not separate from the universe. You are part of its ongoing oscillation. The same field that gives birth to the stars also hums through you, through your breath, through the quiet pulse of your heart. The boundary between what is you and what is everything else begins to blur, then dissolve. You imagine the quantum fields shimmering like auroras, each one with its own tone and texture. The electromagnetic field glows softly, carrying the warmth of light and the hum of electricity. The Higgs field rests quietly beneath everything, giving mass to what once had none, anchoring form to the formless. The gravitational field curves and sways, stretching across cosmic distances, guiding galaxies in slow spirals. All of them flow together like overlapping melodies, creating a grand cosmic symphony too vast to ever fully hear. You drift within that orchestra, and for a moment you feel the vibration of creation itself. Tiny fluctuations rise and fall around you. Quantum fluctuations. Random. Spontaneous whispers that flicker into being and fade just as quickly. Even in perfect emptiness, the fields cannot remain still. The vacuum is never truly empty. It dances constantly, restless and alive, birthing virtual particles that appear and vanish before anyone could ever see them. You imagine that dance as glittering dust suspended in still water, flickering in and out of sight. It feels delicate, like the heartbeat of the void. You realize that even silence is filled with motion, that even nothingness has a pulse. Space hums faintly, a constant, invisible vibration that has existed since the dawn of time. It is from this vibration that everything else arises. Galaxies, atoms, light, thought. You let your mind drift into that hum. It feels like being inside a lullaby made of pure physics. You can almost hear the frequencies of existence. Low, infinite tones that stretch beyond hearing. Some waves move slowly, creating the gravity that binds stars. Others flicker fast and bright, creating particles that dance like sparks. All of them move through you, their patterns weaving into the rhythm of your own breathing. You begin to see yourself as a temporary pattern within the field, a cluster of ripples moving in harmony for a brief moment in cosmic time. Just as waves rise and fall on the surface of an ocean, you too are a crest in the grand sea of energy. When the wave passes, it doesn't vanish. It becomes the sea again, quiet, waiting, eternal. The thought brings a strange peace, that you are both fleeting and infinite, momentary and endless. You float further past the scale of atoms into the world where uncertainty reigns. Here, nothing is fixed. The more closely you look, the less definite things become. Position and momentum blur together, unable to coexist sharply. You sense how particles are never quite there, but always becoming. The universe, even in its smallest details, is built upon possibility. You imagine that uncertainty as soft mist swirling around you, beautiful and gentle. Every droplet within it is a probability, a potential reality waiting to unfold. The mist thickens and thins, forming vague shapes that vanish as soon as you focus on them. You realize that this is the true nature of the quantum world. Not chaos, but an endless ocean of maybes. A place where existence itself is fluid, waiting for attention to give it form. And then you think of observation, the quiet act of awareness that seems to crystallize the uncertain. You imagine yourself as that observer, a conscious wave collapsing the mist into form with each glance. The idea feels sacred somehow. That by simply existing, by perceiving, you help define reality. The universe is not something you merely see. It is something that responds to your seeing, adjusting its rhythm to the gaze of your awareness. You picture particles responding like shy fireflies, glowing only when noticed. You do not command them, but you share a secret understanding that the act of being seen completes them. In that way, consciousness and matter are intertwined, both woven into the same tapestry of vibration. You realize that awareness is not separate from the quantum field. It may be another kind of wave, another kind of hum in the endless cosmic song. You drift between these layers, matter, energy, perception, and they begin to merge. You feel less like a small being moving through space, and more like space itself, alive and aware. The universe is no longer something outside of you. It is within you, around you, humming softly like a dream you've always known but never quite remembered. As you float, the vibrations grow gentler. You sense how fragile balance truly is, how each field interacts with another, keeping the universe stable and beautiful. The forces between them, strong, weak, electromagnetic, gravitational, all work in perfect harmony. You imagine them as invisible threads of light, weaving through each other in slow, graceful motion. Their balance allows stars to burn, atoms to form, life to breathe. You begin to sense that the universe is not built from parts, but from relationships. Not from separate things, but from connections, endless, intimate, and alive. Each vibration touches another, every field responds to the rest. The cosmos is a single, breathing organism, unfolding itself through countless forms and patterns. Even in silence, it hums softly with the memory of creation. You breathe deeply, and the rhythm of that hum matches your own heartbeat. The line between inside and outside fades entirely. You feel the quantum fields flowing through you, gentle and constant, keeping you tethered to the universe in every breath. Each inhale feels like drawing in starlight. Each exhale feels like releasing galaxies back into the night. Somewhere, beyond words, you sense the truth that you are not merely observing the field. You are the field. The same vibrations that ripple through the vacuum ripple through your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams, they are all forms of motion within this infinite medium. You are the ocean and the wave, the silence and the sound. You float there for what feels like forever, listening to the soft hum of existence. Around you, the invisible fabric of reality ripples gently, carrying light, gravity, and memory through its folds. Each vibration feels like a heartbeat of the cosmos, steady, timeless, serene. The deeper you listen, the quieter it becomes, until there is only stillness. And in that stillness, you feel the pulse of something beyond even the quantum fields. Something softer, older, infinite. The vibration of being itself. It cradles you gently, as if the entire universe were a lullaby, and you were the quiet note it hums to itself as it dreams. You drift quietly into thought, imagining a place where the rules of the world begin to blur. The air feels lighter there, the boundaries softer, the lines between what is and what might be fading into mist. It's the quantum realm. A place too small for sight, too delicate for touch, yet somehow deeply real. You sense it, like a whisper beneath the noise of everyday life. The deeper you look, the less certain everything becomes. You imagine shrinking smaller and smaller, far beyond atoms, beyond the protons and electrons that circle like tiny moons. You drift down through empty space until you reach a place where particles no longer behave as objects. They flicker in and out of existence, shifting between waves and points, between being somewhere and being everywhere at once. The air around you hums faintly, as if filled with invisible breath. Nothing here stays still for long. You move closer to one of those flickering points, watching it shimmer like a candle flame in the dark. It seems alive but uncertain. One moment it's here, the next it's somewhere else. Both and neither at the same time. You realize that this is the strange gift of quantum superposition. A single particle can exist in multiple states, multiple places, until it's observed. Until attention collapses the wave. The universe keeps its secrets soft and unchosen. You think of it like mist drifting across a still lake. From a distance, it looks solid, a shape you can almost hold. But when you reach for it, it dissolves into nothing, reforming somewhere else. That is what these particles are like. Not things, but possibilities. The world beneath the world is made of maybes. Each moment is filled with choices the universe has not yet made. You float among them, weightless, surrounded by flickers of potential. The boundaries between them feel fluid, like overlapping ripples on water. You begin to sense that everything, light, matter, even thought, begins in this ocean of probability. Each wave waiting silent until something calls it into form. You wonder what it means to observe, to collapse the wave, to bring something from uncertainty into existence. Perhaps the act of observation isn't just looking. Perhaps it's a kind of participation. You imagine the universe waiting patiently for awareness. Yours, someone's, anyone's, to focus upon it. The gaze does not create reality, but completes it. Like a sculptor revealing the form already hidden within marble, consciousness shapes what was always there. You are not outside of the experiment. You are part of it, a participant in the great unfolding of being. You drift deeper into that thought. Around you, the quantum mist glows faintly, each flicker carrying the promise of form. You sense the connection between everything. How a particle here might be entangled with one light years away. They mirror each other instantly, as if space between them does not exist. You imagine invisible threads stretching across the cosmos, binding stars and atoms in a silent choreography. You tug at one, and the whole universe trembles in response. It feels like the web of a spider made of light, fragile but infinite. Each node a particle, each strand an exchange of information, faster than thought, beyond time. This is quantum entanglement, and it hums softly through all things. You begin to realize that separation is an illusion. The stars above, the ground beneath, your own heartbeat, all are woven into a single network of shimmering connection. You let yourself float in that awareness, the weight of distance melting away. You think of how this entanglement defies the usual rules, how information travels where matter cannot. Some physicists say the universe might use this hidden web to communicate with itself. Others think space itself might emerge from it, like threads weaving the fabric of reality. Whatever the truth, you can feel the quiet unity beneath the apparent chaos, an underlying coherence that never breaks. You drift farther, feeling the hum of probability pulse around you. You imagine yourself surrounded by clouds of wave functions, each one describing not what is, but what could be. The future exists here as potential, curling softly around the present like fog around a lantern. Every breath you take sends new ripples into that fog, new probabilities shimmering into existence. The world is not fixed, but constantly being rewritten, softly, silently, beneath perception. You begin to sense the poetry of it all. How strange that the smallest things obey such mysterious laws. How beautiful that uncertainty, not certainty, is what gives rise to everything you know. If the universe were rigid and predictable, nothing new could ever emerge. It is in the space between possibilities, in the trembling of the quantum field, that creation finds its voice. You think of particles tunneling through barriers, appearing on the other side as if walls meant nothing. You imagine that movement as a quiet reminder, even in nature, the impossible sometimes happens. Quantum tunneling allows stars to burn, atoms to form, life to exist. It is the gentle rebellion of matter against limitation. A soft defiance written into the fabric of everything that breathes. The deeper you drift, the more you sense time loosening its hold. At this scale, the future and past blend softly together, overlapping like ripples in a pond. Cause and effect become less certain, like a story told out of order that still somehow makes sense. You imagine time as a fog, curling back upon itself, while the particles within it dance without hurry or direction. Here, nothing rushes. Everything waits to be noticed. You feel the strange calm of that idea, that uncertainty is not chaos, but balance. That the universe, in its smallest whispers, is constantly exploring every possible path, every possible future. You imagine your own life as one of those quantum paths, a superposition of dreams, choices, and infinite small probabilities. Each step you take collapses one wave and opens countless others. You drift through that vast ocean of possibilities, and it feels peaceful, not overwhelming. There is something tender about it, that every moment contains multitudes, that every thought might ripple through unseen fields, gently shaping the flow of what comes next. The more you relax into it, the more you feel that same uncertainty alive within you, not as confusion, but as freedom. You imagine yourself dissolving into the field, becoming part of the infinite dance. Each particle, each flicker of light, each vibration of energy welcomes you home. You feel yourself blending into that vast hum, no longer a single point of observation, but part of the song itself. The rhythm is slow, patient, older than stars. You move with it, weightless, like a wave moving through light. The mist around you glows faintly, colors shifting through shades of silver and blue. You can almost feel the probabilities weaving together, forming matter, forming energy, forming meaning. The boundaries between particle and wave, between dream and reality, blur until only vibration remains. You sense that this is what the universe truly is, a song of possibilities, forever humming, forever incomplete. You float through that sound, feeling your thoughts slow to match its rhythm. The hum deepens, steady and low, like the heartbeat of existence. You no longer need to understand it. It's enough to feel it. The more you listen, the more it feels familiar, as though it has always been there. Beneath your own heartbeat, beneath the pulse of every star, somewhere, a particle flickers into being. Somewhere else, another disappears. The rhythm continues, perfect in its imperfection. You let it carry you, soft and slow, through the dark ocean of quantum light. There is no beginning here, no end, only endless becoming. You feel weightless now, drifting through the possibility field like a small wave among countless others. The hum fades into silence, but the silence hums back, a paradox that somehow makes sense. Every potential still exists, waiting. Every thought, every dream, every heartbeat, rippling softly through the unseen sea of everything. You drift through the quiet corridors of thought, where science and wonder softly intertwine. The world around you slows, the edges blur, and a deep stillness begins to unfold. You imagine yourself surrounded by the invisible breath of existence. Atoms, molecules, and the energy that holds them close. Everything that ever was, and everything that ever will be, is humming together in delicate balance. The deeper you listen, the more you realize that even the emptiness between things is alive with motion. You begin to sense that every breath you take is part of an endless exchange. You inhale the same molecules that once drifted through ancient forests, that once swirled in the atmospheres of distant worlds. You exhale them back into the great cycle, into oceans, clouds, and stars yet unborn. Nothing is truly lost, only changed. The air feels sacred now, a silent messenger connecting you to every form of life that has ever breathed. As you float in that thought, you picture the earth not as a rock, but as a living body. Its forests like lungs, its rivers like veins, carrying nutrients and oxygen through its green and blue skin. Beneath the surface, molten heat pulses like a slow heartbeat, driving tectonic plates that drift and shift like muscles beneath the crust. The planet exhales volcanoes and inhales oceans, balancing warmth and coolness, light and shadow, creation and renewal. You imagine drifting above it, watching storms swirl over continents like thoughts in a dreaming mind. The clouds roll and dissolve, reshaping endlessly, just like your own passing feelings. Lightning flickers across them like neurons firing in a brain made of vapor. You realize that this planet is not just alive, it is aware in ways you may never fully understand. Each storm, each gust of wind, is part of its rhythm. Each raindrop is a heartbeat falling from the sky. You drift lower now, toward the ocean, that vast cradle of life, older than any mountain, deeper than any dream. Its surface glimmers under moonlight, silver ripples spreading in soft concentric waves. You listen to the slow pulse of the tides, driven by the pull of a distant moon. Gravity becomes a lullaby, rocking the planet gently through its endless night. The sea sighs and breathes, its waves whispering secrets too ancient to translate. Beneath the waves, the world glows in quiet blues and greens. Tiny creatures shimmer like living stars, their bodies carrying light from within. You imagine drifting among them, feeling the gentle push of the current like the hand of time itself. Everywhere you look, there is motion, not chaotic, but graceful, as though the ocean were dreaming. Fish move like thoughts through the subconscious of the planet, appearing and fading without sound. You let yourself sink deeper into the realm where sunlight fades and pressure builds. Here, in the darkness, strange forms drift slowly through the still water. They glow faintly, casting halos of light that shimmer like auroras beneath the waves. Jellyfish pulse in hypnotic rhythm, their translucent bells folding and unfolding with each silent beat. Even here, in the cold depths, life endures, fragile, luminous, and eternal. You sense how deeply life adapts, reshaping itself to every environment, every rhythm, every constraint. The same chemistry that fuels the stars burns quietly within every cell of your body. Hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, the simple elements of creation, arrange themselves into infinite possibilities. The atoms in your blood were once part of ancient stones, and before that, the cores of distant suns. You carry the memory of starlight in your veins. You drift upward again, through layers of water and light, breaking once more into the night air. The moon hangs heavy above, its pale glow rippling across the waves. You think about how that same moon stabilizes Earth's spin, how it slows the planet's rotation, making nights longer, tides predictable. Without it, life might have unfolded differently, smaller, more fragile, more uncertain. The moon's gravity has always been a silent guide, shaping time, shaping rhythm, shaping life. You lift your gaze higher into the darkness beyond. The sky stretches endlessly, filled with countless stars, each one another sun. You realize that the same physical laws governing your heartbeat also govern their burning cores. Fusion, gravity, motion. The same dance, repeated in every corner of existence. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its echo, its continuation, its living awareness. You imagine each star as a cell in a vast cosmic body, communicating through light and gravity. Galaxies become organs, swirling in luminous spirals, exchanging energy and information. The universe breathes too, expanding slowly, steadily, like lungs inhaling eternity. The space between galaxies stretches, cools, and grows thin, yet still carries the faint hum of creation's first heartbeat. That hum drifts through you, soft as a sigh, older than memory. You sense the symmetry in it all. The way energy moves, always conserved, always transforming. Nothing truly ends, only changes form, finding new shapes, new patterns, new rhythms. A falling leaf becomes soil. A burnt star becomes nebula. A thought becomes a ripple in someone else's mind. Everything is part of a grand recycling of being. A dance without beginning or end. You imagine the earth suspended in that vastness, glowing faintly against the black. Its atmosphere a thin halo of blue, fragile yet enduring. From this view you see no borders, no divisions, only one connected whole. The forests shimmer like emerald veins. The deserts glow with quiet warmth. The ice caps gleam like mirrors, catching the first light of dawn. You realize how beautifully alive the planet truly is, how delicately balanced it remains. The thought feels soothing, almost like forgiveness. You see humanity not as separate, but as an expression of the same life that fills the oceans and stars. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, all extensions of this planetary rhythm. You are not on Earth, you are of it. A cell in its body, a note in its music, a flicker in its dream. You feel gravity gently holding you in place, cradling you like a parent holding a sleeping child. Every molecule of your body is bound to this world, sharing its spin, its warmth, its pulse. The atoms that make your bones are borrowed from mountains. The calcium once shimmered in coral reefs, once drifted through seas older than history. You are made of everything that ever was, reshaped and reborn countless times. You close your eyes, imagining all of existence as one continuous breath. Inhale, creation, expansion, light. Exhale, transformation, rest, return. The universe breathes in cycles too. Stars born, stars dying, galaxies colliding, then forming anew. It's all part of the same gentle rhythm, echoing through you as you breathe now. Each breath a small reminder that you belong here, perfectly timed, perfectly balanced within the greater pulse of being. You drift in that rhythm, letting it slow your heartbeat, letting it soothe your thoughts. The space around you feels soft, warm, infinite. You can almost hear the deep hum of the universe, steady and low. A vibration that threads through every atom, every particle, every star. You imagine it passing through you, cleansing you of noise and hurry, leaving only stillness and light. The air grows lighter still. You picture yourself floating between stars, not moving, just being. Every flicker of light feels familiar, as if you've seen it before, somewhere beyond memory. The galaxies shimmer like reflections on a quiet sea, their spirals turning in perfect silence. Time stretches thin, then dissolves, leaving only a calm awareness, a sense of connection too deep for words. You no longer think in boundaries. The universe doesn't end at your skin. It moves through you, flows within you, breathes with you. The air you exhale joins the wind. The warmth of your body radiates into space. You are part of a pattern too vast to ever be separate from. And as you float there, between thought and sleep, you sense that the cosmos is still breathing, softly, endlessly, dreaming itself into being through you.